is my friend Jeanne, and Jeanne really is an amazing advocate for elders who have been abused. Please share with us what it is that you do.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you so much for the opportunity of being here this morning. And this is really a wonderful program that you're putting on. I'm Jeanne, and I'm the program director of a program called the St. Elizabeth Haven for Elder Justice. Ben, could you put the first slide up? We're a program that began in 2009. It happened as a result of people from the St. Elizabeth community attending a national conference where the issue of elder abuse was on the agenda. And there were people at that time creating shelter programs for elders across the nation. And when the staff from St. Elizabeth came back to Rhode Island, they created the Haven. The next slide, please. The Haven is a safety program. We work with elders who are abused or who may be abused. We provide a shelter, a temporary place while we work with people to find a better situation for them. And for those elders who are in need of help, but don't want to leave their homes or enter a shelter, we provide a community-based program. What we do is we provide a safe place. We work with our partner organizations. We work with the State of Rhode Island, the Office of Healthy Aging. We work with the community organizations. We work with the police. We work with the Attorney General's office. And our intent is to bring people together to really look at what all the possibilities are that we can present to an elder so that we can move them from an at-risk or a dangerous situation into a long-term safe situation. Could we go to the next slide, please? You know, elder abuse is called the silent epidemic. 25 years ago, we were all working on issues of child abuse, and we have worked successfully on those issues. And we worked on issues of domestic violence, but elder abuse is really just coming to the forefront. And for those of us who work with elders and work in the field, we call it the silent epidemic. And we call it that because only one elder in 24 who are abused is actually reported. And that's largely because the problem of elder abuse happens in someone's home, so that there really isn't anyone looking for a situation that might be dangerous. And elders don't report. They're afraid. Elders don't report because they're afraid that people won't believe them. They're afraid that they're going to lose their independence. They're afraid of being institutionalized. They're afraid of being at a loss of the social supports that they have. They're also afraid of being retaliated against by the abuser. And sometimes their cognitive decline and illness may prevent them from reporting themselves. For the rest of us who work in the field, for those of us, we don't report because we don't have proper training to help identify what's going on. We also are afraid of making a judgment that we might make a mistake in reporting. And we just don't understand sometimes the signs and the prevention and the reporting aspects of elder abuse. That slide, the slide that's up, is just a list of brief descriptions about elder abuse. When I talk to people about elder abuse, many people are so surprised that it exists. And I think that's because we don't recognize it or we fail to see it. So I try to use every opportunity to kind of give people an idea of what to look for. You know, elder abuse is physical, it's sexual, it's psychological, it's neglect, intentional neglect, and it's financial exploitation. Just think that there are 1 in 24 cases of abuse that are not reported, and that there are people who are suffering in these situations without our knowing, or with our knowing and not recognizing it. When I talk about financial exploitation as well, I'm not talking about scams. Financial exploitation is usually done by family members or caregivers or people who are trusted by the elder. When I talk about neglect, it's not self-neglect, but it's intentional neglect. And that's neglect of proper care for an elder, it's lack of medication, it's not feeding them. Psychological is mistreatment, it's harassment, it's threats, it's verbal abuse. Physical, of course, is more prominent. You can see the bruises or the restraints, so that all of these are very dangerous to an elder. And oftentimes, an elder suffers from more than one type of abuse at one time. Can I have the next slide, please? You know, education is key as we move along in the area of elder abuse, because people don't know, because people don't recognize, because people have fears. It really is important to do education. The St. Elizabeth community received a federal grant from the Department of Justice just a year ago. And what we will be doing in the future is providing education and training to law enforcement and to social service organizations. We'll be doing that through a virtual training program after the first of the year. But it absolutely is key that people, all of us, recognize what's going on for an elder and that we take action. Some of the signs are the unexplained injuries, that you see that an elder is very fearful, sudden inability to take care of themselves, to pay their bills, to feed themselves, changes in appetite, loss of weight, their personal hygiene changes. They don't know their own personal finances. They have unexplained health changes. Elders who are abused experience illness at a more rapid rate and more serious illness, and they are likely to die at a much earlier age. So it's really critical that we intervene. It also is important to look at the dependency of adult children and the caregivers around the elder who are dependent upon the elder's money to take care of them. And then, of course, there's the whole issue of unauthorized withdrawal of money, taking over of properties. The next slide, please. You know, how elders can take care of themselves. You know, we need to encourage people to tell somebody, talk to a doctor, talk to a priest, talk to a friend. We need to encourage people to seek medical treatment. Talk to the doctor, take care of yourself. Don't give your social security number or your credit card numbers out to anyone. And don't share the financial condition, your financial status, with anybody. Don't sign documents unless somebody you know and truly trust will help you to decide whether you should or not. And don't live with someone who has a history of violent behavior. Next slide, please. For those of us who have family and friends, things that we need to do is to visit elder people, especially those who are isolated, often. We need to look and we need to listen to them. We need to work with them in the privacy of their home or in their own privacy. We don't want other people involved in the conversations. We want to find the resources to help, and we want to speak up. We want to look for things that are wrong And most of all, we want to report. Next slide, please. Most people don't realize that in the state of Rhode Island, there is a law that requires every person in the state, no matter who you are, if you suspect an elder is being abused, you must report. This has been a law for a long, long time, but people are unfamiliar and don't really follow the law, even when they know the law. But it is critical. None of us want to be the person who knew something was happening, but only spoke about it after the elder is severely injured or dies. None of us want to be that person. It's important that if you suspect abuse that you report it. And in the state of Rhode Island, we report it to the abuse helpline, which is operated by the Office of Healthy Aging. And that number is 462-0555. What's important to realize and to understand is that it's not our role, it's not our purpose to investigate or to determine if there's abuse. We just need to have a suspicion, a reasonable suspicion. It is the role of the Department of Health, the Office of Healthy Aging, really to do the investigation. Let them, they're the professionals, let them determine whether there's something going on or not, but make the call. Please, the next slide. The Haven works with elders who have been abused or who are at risk of being abused. And we work with elders who are male and female. And we do serve a lot of males, which is unlike other areas of abuse. The people that we work with are 60 years of age and older. They're victims of abuse. They're in need of temporary shelter or in need of safety planning in the community. They are referred to us by the Office of Healthy Aging and other collaborative agencies. And those agencies, again, are CAP agents, community action agencies, health centers, hospitals, the Attorney General's office, police. But to make a referral or for more information about the Haven, please feel free to call us at 244-5476. All referrals that we receive, we report back to to OHA. I didn't change that screen. Because it is their role to do the investigation and their role to do the determination. I'd like also to let people know that if you make a call to OHA, you can do that anonymously. Many people are afraid. Again, they're afraid that they've made a mistake or that they're wrong, or their neighbors, the individual they're reporting about will know who made the report. You can do that anonymously. What really is critical is that you are aware, and if you have a suspicion, that you report. The next slide, please. You know, elder abuse can be prevented. There are 5 million people every year in America who are abused, neglected, and exploited in America. That's a horrendous situation. You know, the consequences our elders are grave, greater health cost, increased nursing home placements, premature deaths, billions of dollars in losses of money and property. So I would ask everyone, please look, please listen, please protect, and please report. Thank you for this opportunity. I can't hear you.
I did it again. Technical hiccups there. One of the things I think people may be nervous about is can they report anonymously if they suspect something's going on?
Absolutely. And I think that most people do. When professional people generally don't, but neighbors and family members, they often do it anonymously. And they do it for the same reason that elders don't report themselves. They're afraid of making a mistake. They're afraid of causing difficulty for the elder. So people do it all the time. It's important to report. Let the professionals look at the situation and decide what to do about it.
I think that's just so important. And one of the things that you said really kind of stuck with me, and that was you don't want to be the person who knew that it was happening and didn't say anything, and then something really bad occurred. And you said, well, I kind of suspected, but I never spoke up.
Absolutely. And we've seen that, in other kinds of abuses when a child is abused, how many people have watched it over time and didn't do anything. And it's the same with elders. It's important to be with elders. It's important that when you know someone is isolated, that there is a constant contact, so that there is opportunity to look, to listen, and if need be, to report.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this important resource. I think I would love to have this like yelled from the high hills here in Rhode Island that there is help available, and that, if you think something's going on, say something. It's so important. I know the number has come across the screen a number of times. It's in the chat. If anybody ever thinks something's going on, please speak up.
And Rhode Island is very rich with people who work together to try to help elders.
Yes.
And we all work together. So no matter where you enter your concern, whether it's with a case manager or the hospital or the police, it all comes around to the same group of organizations and professionals to work to circle around the individual and really help as much as possible.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jeanne. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. This is a wonderful opportunity. Thank you.